I did not. I haven't watched, and it's no shade because Taryn, you know I adore you, but I actually haven't seen a live feed update from Taryn in maybe like 4 days, maybe 3 or 4 days, I think. So no, I haven't stolen that. Yeah, best advice to get on Big Brother. Best advice to get on Big Brother. Understand your archetype and then provide context on why you contradict that archetype. So for me, I was the pageant girl, I was Miss Congeniality, but I'm also like extremely competitive and, you know, grew up black and predominantly white, not neighborhood, but predominantly white school system. So I have this like dual experience that lets me adapt easily in different scenarios. So, you know, there's a bunch of different ways that you can spin your stereotype and then show what you actually are. That's my advice. I keep having to swipe up because it won't automatically do it. I'm gonna have to update this stupid Instagram app when you become the first few-time winner this winter. Yeah, sure, okay. Watch the first boot prophecy be fulfilled if I go back. What do you think about the backlash you received for you talking about cultural appropriation at the RHAP event? I think there were some really good points made there. Some people pointed out that Blue is a queer woman that has a lot of experience in space in like the ballroom or New York queer scene, which I was not aware of. I still kind of stand by like, that still doesn't give you the space to fully adopt that and have it be your persona on a national platform. But again, like I don't know how involved she is in that space. So yeah. And I also want to be really clear. It's like first of all, I think Blue's fucking cool. Like I think and I thought she was cool from her fucking intro package. But I think I tried, but probably failed at trying to explain like, hey, I want to be mindful about this critique I'm making because when I was on my season, the criticism that I had from other house guests was, I'm not vulnerable enough. And the person that you are when you're not vulnerable enough is not the real you. And we want to see the real you. And it's like, okay, but what you think the real me is me when I'm at my lowest? How does that make any sense? And how is that kind or fair to me? And so I tried to have that caveat when I said something like, I hate that I feel this way. But I was really trying to kind of condense a lot of thoughts into a soundbite. So I understand the frustration, but it's no hate towards Blue. And I literally ended up with saying like, I want to bring her in and embrace her. So I think multiple things can be true at the same time. I really enjoyed watching you. I was rooting for you the whole time. I love that. Thank you. It means so much to me. How would you change the comps to make them more equitable? I would do more quizzes. I think physical comps are really interesting, but I think you just need to be mindful considering who you cast. I think there needs to be more communication between, and look, I'm speculating, I don't actually know what the relationship is like, but I would like to think there should be more communication between the comps department and the casting team, because you can't have a bunch of super physical comps and like, you know, if there's older players that can't compete with younger players, it doesn't make it very equitable or set things up for success. So I think more quizzes, more booth quizzes, like we used to see more crapshoot things would be nice. The comps used to be very equitable. I think if you watch the first, like the early seasons of comps, they're really equitable. So yeah, here's a way to do it. Off topic, but would you like to be a guest judge on Drag Race? In a heartbeat. Big dream, big goal there. I would love that. Someone sent a question in the question box that says, top 5 reasons Bowie Jane will win. I'm not giving top 5 reasons. That's a whole lot of reasons. reasons. Maybe multiple options for a comp, puzzle versus athletic or survivor. Yeah. Should Jag have evicted Matt? I recorded my reaction to Jag evicting Felicia. Look, you do you. My stance is once you hit the end game, like all bets are off the table. I don't care about whatever deal we made, how long we've been working together. We were in the end game. So if telling you, person number one, who I've had a deal with for the longest time, is gonna give me a better shot of getting to the end, and then making a fresh deal with you, number two, is also gonna get me to the end, I'm gonna do both. I don't know. This is why I can't do many other reality shows, because like some other reality shows really rely on integrity and being reliable, and it's a game. Like, I'm here to play a game, and I'm not really concerned about like, where's your integrity and your word? Child, I'm trying to bounce all the checks in the Big Brother house. All bets are off the table when it comes to end game. You gotta care. Bowie Jane is an icon. This question said, Bowie Jane is an icon, even if her gameplay is meh. I love her smile. I love that Bowie Jane and her accent are always just like, hey girl, what's going on? We doing good? We good? Cool. Thoughts on House of Villains? I'm down for it. I think it's fun and campy and hilarious and self-aware, which is what I think all reality shows should be. So I love it. What are your thoughts on Cerie's son being in the house, an advantage or a disadvantage? I think ultimately a disadvantage. I think like we saw Jared make a couple mistakes that put Cerie's independent game more in jeopardy because she had to do more work to. I think when they were both actively trying to protect each other, there were things they did that worked against that. And so having that secret, having that bond, it can be exciting and enticing, but I think when you're doing it in practice, it makes the game so much more complicated and ultimately can be a disadvantage, or you would think it's going to be an advantage. But who knows? Actually, no, we do know. Like, we saw it play out, so I think ultimately it was a disadvantage. That doesn't mean that they didn't try to look after and care for each other. And I love when Cirie booted or voted against people recently, and she was like, that's for you, Izzy and Pooh. I was like, there you go. Someone said, I can't believe they booted New York. They will be dealt with. Trust, you will be dealt with. I have not caught up on House of Villains. Shout out to the producers in the chat. Yeah. Y'all get more questions in here. It's fun. Would you go back for a Legends season? I have said a few times that I would. I think it'd be really cool to do that. And it also just like, I became a fan of Big Brother when I was studying Big Brother to go on the show. So yeah, it would be really exciting to go in and like, imagine walking in and seeing Dan and Rachel and Kaser and I mean, I'll say Andy and June and Lisa, like Danielle, like it would be so cool to walk in the house and be like, oh my God, like I get to play with you guys now. That'd be so cool. So yeah, it would have to be a month long. Can I do 45 days? I think I might max out at 30. Unless the paycheck looks really nice for 45. I don't know, I gotta think about it. I think 45 is pushing it. That's really pushing it. But I could do a month. I could do a month, Big Brother, Legends. That would be fun for me. And I think also because like, the stakes are the same for everybody. So yeah, just, you know, have a nice little check, make the prize package worth it, get the icons all in one place, and I think we'd all have a good time. What's been your favorite non-reality show? Ooh. Have I really watched a scripted show? I can't think of scripted TV that I've really watched lately. I really can't give you an answer to that, sorry. Terrible. Would you do traders? I am open to doing traders, yes. It's so funny, I was like, and I still am, I'm still really adamant about not doing anything that's gonna put me in a position of like, true duress. So shows like, what are like really intense competition? Like, okay, The Challenge. That would put me in a position of like, I'm not trying to be stressed out. I'm not trying to go through physical frustration and angst and stuff like that. Like, that's not the life I'm trying to live. No. Like, I want a soft life. I want a Pilates and latte type of life. So yeah, that is not the show for me. Every time I say that, you all think it's shade. You all think it's like me being like, I'm better than that. No, it's just not the show for me. So I don't want to be I don't want my primary livelihood to be in reality TV. Like, I don't want to only be relevant or important because I'm in reality TV, even though I enjoy it. Yeah, that's not something I want for myself. Who said, I'm just a girl? I was soft life, I'm just a girl. You guys are funny. But yeah, so girl, I just started Pilates and that shit is hard. It is, it really is. Who do you get anything if you don't win the 750K? Yes. Oh my God, yes. The top 5, I'll get variations of cash. I think it's $750 for the winner. I think it's, I forget if it's like $750, $75,000, $50,000, $10,000, $5,000. I'm pretty sure that's how the top 5 breaks down. And then everybody, you know, if you make it to jury, you get your weekly stipend, which is $1,000 a week. And then I'm filming Jason Tartick's Trading Secrets podcast tomorrow, I believe, which makes me, I kind of want to fall asleep in this makeup and hair. I'm gonna sleep like this and then wake up so I can film. I might do it, I don't know. I might. But I'll break down like what my winning check looked like, what I've done with my money, what I plan to do with other money I have coming in. So yeah, I'm excited about that. Taylor, it was great meeting you at the Berries party a couple weeks ago. Oh, that was so much fun. No, the Berries party was a lot of fun. It was so loud. So Diplo played at the Berries party. Berries had a birthday, Berries Fitness, which I've never done before in my life, to this day. One day I'll do Berries. Todrick has a good friend that is an instructor at Berries in Hollywood, so I think might try it. But I'm not gonna tell you guys about it because I will be crawling and crying out of that Berries class. I'm like, oh no, no. But the party was so fun, and it was really nice meeting you too. Do you think strong and entertaining players like Riley and others who get evicted early deserve a second chance or redemption type of season? You know, I talk about this with other people in the space often. Would you do Challenge USA? No. Would you do Challenge MTV? No. Yeah, I wouldn't do either of those. For the reasons I just explained. I talk about this to people in the community. I would love if they just like kept the Big Brother house open year round. And I know this would take a lot of money because you got to pay a lot of people to do this. But if you did 2 weeks and put in every first boot or like every strong player of the last 5 to 10 seasons, and you had 2 weeks and you just play comps all the time, and you make it a mini series on Paramount Plus. I think that'd be so cool. Or if you get everybody who's won the wall and you have them do a wall comp. Like, that would be really cool. And it'd be so cool to see people play those games. Yeah, there are like so many little mini ideas I have where it's like, oh my God, it would be so cool to see that. Or like, how awesome would it be if they could open up the Big Brother backyard and do like a day for fans to play Big Brother games in the backyard. Like, that would be really cool. But I don't make those decisions, and I think it would be really difficult to kind of like mitigate that. I'm basically just saying I want there to be a Big Brother amusement park. That's something else. You need to apply for Survivor. No. Guys, whenever I'm like, I feel like I'm like anybody else. When I see these, it's so easy to watch a reality show and be like, I can do that. It's so easy. Like, I watch Survivor, right? I'm like, you know what? 20-some days? I did Big Brother, it's a cakewalk. But then I look at all the bug bites and the way that they damn near cry over some fish. And I'm like, you know what? It's not me. Also, I was talking to somebody that did, and they were like, yeah, like, the ocean is your toilet. Survivor will not be for me. So in theory, and think about yourself, right? You watch all of these shows and you're like, oh yeah, I could do that. That looks like fun, I could do that. No, let's be realistic. So yeah, again, that's no shade. It's just like, oh, this is actually just not for me. What do you think of this new season of Survivor? So this is, I tried getting into last season of Survivor and I just remember falling off at a certain point. I don't know why. I think life got in the way. I keep playing with the up and down. I wasn't sure if I wanted it to be really forward. This is so different. Or like back so you could really see the snatch of the pony. And so I was like, let's go back. Let's go back. But maybe when I sleep in it tomorrow, I'll do the podcast and I'll flip forward like this. Joseph, shut up. Joseph said, well. Go to bed. It's like, it's 2 a.m. for you. Go to bed. The fuck? And didn't we just do daylight savings? So then we fall back. So it's technically like, it feels like 3 for you. Go to sleep. Go to sleep. I'm going to call back and interrupt this live. No, you're not. Don't call me back. Do not call me back. I should have gone airplane mode. What do you do, Baddies East? There's one person that keeps asking me that, and I will not be doing that. I will not be doing that. I'm coming to House Chops alone in LA. What is it like being there? It's like family. Azza does amazing events. I mean, I'm sorry. Like, Joseph, call me tomorrow. Call me tomorrow. Go to bed. But no, Azza does amazing events, truly. They're so fun, they're so well organized. It just feels like you're around family. If I were a fan of any of these reality shows, I would never feel bad or anxious or nervous pulling up to one of Azza's events because everybody is gonna embrace you. Like, I think you could walk up to anybody at a table and say, hey, like, it's my first time and I came alone, but I love this show so much. This man. But yeah, no, if you're like, I love this show so much and I showed up because I just want to meet my favorite reality stars, people are going to be like, okay, come home. You're home with us. And then you'll see us walking through, just kicking it. I will be at House Chops. I will be there. I always love supporting Azza. I'm so excited to be there. My finale night's going to be a little crazy. I'm going to be doing exit interviews for the final, obviously the final lists, which I'm really excited about. But we're doing them, at least, I will be doing interviews, so that's something that I have to take priority of first, of course, like my job. And then from there, I'll then be able to go to Azza's watch party, which will be really fun and exciting. So it's gonna be a real busy night for me. Oh, that was a good question. Would Michael have beaten Jag at vetoes this season? Probably. And that's no shade to Jag, but Michael was just like, y'all don't know. You go into a comp thinking you have a chance, and then it's like, ah, here you go, Michael. It was amazing. Yeah. Who do you want to win? Man, look, I want different people to win for different reasons. I think it would be, as far as representation goes, it would be really cool to see Jag win. I would love for Jag to be able to make an argument for like, hey, why did I betray you guys? This is why I wanted to play the game. I really don't want to speak so poorly on Jag. Like, I don't want people to think that me saying, hey, like, yeah, Jag's won a lot of competitions, but like, how strong was his competition when he was competing? It's like, I don't want people to take that and be like, well, she hates Jag. It's like, no, I don't hate Jag. And I actually think it is still impressive to have this many comp wins. Like, that's really cool. But as indicated in the speech I gave last year, and from what the jury has been saying, it doesn't seem like that's the most impressive thing. So if you have that long resume, you have to be able to advocate for, okay, well, yeah, I earned power a lot of times, but what did I do with that power? And how did I make people feel going out the door? Like, you only gain power in this game so that you can have influence. And what is influence? That's social. So it matters. And then Matt, I think I appreciate that Matt has had more social strategy in this game than just comp wins. And Bowie Jane, like, I feel like two things about Bowie Jane's game. Number one, I stand by what I said as far as if Bowie Jane were a guy, would we be trashing your game as much as we are? Maybe we would, but also maybe we wouldn't. Maybe we'd be a lot more lenient and say like, oh, like, BJ's a guy, and all BJ has to do is just like get along easily with people and have like and make connections and win a couple comps, and it's easy for BJ to get to the end. So, but I also recognize what people in the jury are saying of like, Bowie Jane's just doing what those boys tell her to do. It's like, okay, I can see that argument too. So that's like the first thing I feel about Bowie Jane. The other end I feel about Bowie Jane is understanding your path to the end. And I'm hoping to see her articulate like, hey, as far as people that were really gonna like be my people to go forward with the game, these two were my strongest bet of getting there. And I'd like to see her say like, no, like I did this with aligning myself with these people, and this is why I had to align myself with these people, and this is why I deserve to be in there. So like, you could have the most traditionally abysmal game. I'm not saying BJ does, Bowie Jane does. I'm not saying that. I'm saying you could have the most traditionally abysmal game in the history of Big Brother. Anybody could. But if you plant seeds with the jury as they're going out the door and send them off in a position to advocate for your game, and then at the very end, when you are in final two giving your speech and say, this is what I had to do to get here, these are the circumstances why, this is why I couldn't play the game that you want to reward, but this is why you should reward my game, I think it's valid and it's fair. So I'm not gonna sit here and be like, she's just doing what these boys say, and no. It's like, sometimes you gotta understand the path that is there and spin it to your advantage. Sound familiar? Oh man. R.I.P. to the mustard seed though. Tragic. Opinions on AmeriCorey. So I got to meet the Wurtenberger family. Is that how you say it? Wurtenberger or Wurtenberger? Wurtenberger? I got to meet the Wurtenberger family when I was at the RHAP Live event. Such sweethearts, just like very, very kind people. His little sister is just like such a little angel. So, you know, what I told them was tell them to protect the relationship. Don't feel pressure. I think for me, being in a public relationship, like it was really hard to just want to pursue and nurture my relationship and then turn around and everywhere I was looking, it was like, either such an obsession with us as a couple that there was just constantly a demand for more and more content. And then also simultaneously, the idea of like, because you're not throwing content down our face, or because you don't look like what we expect a couple to look like, you must be fake, you must just want this for money, you must just want this for clout. Or like, that's just so wild to me, because there were so many offers that were just in front of us of how to monetize the relationship. And we literally were like, no. Like, we were literally like, that's a lot of work and strain, and like, no. Like, I'm flattered, but no. So having lived that experience, and then ultimately, you know, the romantic aspect not working out, I told Zach, I told him, like, tell them to keep their relationship, it's just like private and close as personal. Like, the couple's content can be fun, and there's some things that you can drop, but don't feel like you have to answer to a demand of everybody else. It's like, especially in this new age of social media, and guys, when I tell you there is an insane amount of financial opportunity in the couples space. I mean, I remember signing with my social representation, and they were like, we want to see couples content. And I was like, no, you're not getting that out of me. I don't want that. I remember in my PR kit, there was a mention about our relationship, and I was like, take that out. Like, I don't want this to be something for people to consume. You get what you get if I decide to share it, and otherwise, like, I don't want you coming here to have access to this. And so I just want AmeriCorey and whatever other couples come out of this space to really be protective of their relationship, because yeah, it can get really, really invasive. It can get really invasive, and if they love each other, which it really seems like they do, I'm rooting for them, but I'm gonna tell them, like, protect your peace, protect your relationship. Really, it is so worth it to be in a healthy, happy, loving relationship, so much more than all this other stuff. And why after your breakup did you post tons of content about your breakup? Coping mechanism. Yeah. I also think, like, it's a coping. I think I'm back. Were you offered to be on The Amazing Race? Not after Big Brother. That's how I originally got recruited. I was asked to do The Amazing Race, and I was like, no, but what about Big Brother? And then that just kept going further and further down the pipeline. But when it comes to after the show, actually, it's a pretty funny story. So everybody was like, oh, like, go on Tar, Taylor for Tar, Taylor for Tar. And I never watched The Amazing Race before. I really had no working knowledge of it. I think Joseph and I did an interview together, and we're both wearing the same color, and they were like, we see you, you're getting ready for Tar. And we're like, okay, we're just matching, but okay. I remember we went to Derek and Claire's to watch the yodeling episode of them on the race. And that was like the first episode I'd ever watched of the race, and simultaneously it was like, Taylor for Tar, amazing race, amazing race. And I went to the casting director, and I was like, hey, so like, is this gonna be a thing? Like, should I expect a phone call? Is something gonna happen? And I remember he was like, oh, I don't think the producers are gonna want another Big Brother couple for a while. And I was like, okay, well, cool. This jailer thing is kind of like more of a sensation than I expected it to be, and like, you know, CBS Family or whatever, but all right, cool. I was like, I'm not itching to go on The Amazing Race. Like, if the offer's there, like, I would entertain it. But, you know, it's like, okay, no harm, no foul, whatever. And then the season kept going on. I remember I texted Claire. It just, like, clicked. And I was like, they don't want a Big Brother couple on for a while. Y'all are still on the season. Claire, you and Derek won The Amazing Race, didn't you? And she was like, wow, that's such a crazy theory. You know, what an interesting idea. And I was like, oh, they won. I was like, they're not asking us to do the show because Derek and Claire obviously won. And so then I think like the next week I texted Derek and was like, I know you won. He was like, what are you talking about? I was like, I know you won. I know you won. Because we aren't getting a phone call. And he was like, oh, that's so weird. What was that? What? I don't know what that was. That was interesting. Was that like something you sent or whatever? I don't know. But anyway, yeah, so that was kind of funny. I was like, huh, clocked y'all. But yeah, look, if Amazing Race ever comes around, I'd have to train for sure. I would definitely have to train, but I'd be down to do it. There's like a handful of people that I would, from the Big Brother world, that I'd absolutely do it with. I'm trying to go through the actual questions that you guys asked here. Are you doing on Baddies East? Are you doing this? Second Chances Redemption season, we did that. Do you still hate Taylor Swift? Do I hate Taylor Swift? No. I do not hate Taylor Swift. I don't really enjoy her music. There are a couple songs that I'm like, oh, actually I like this. But I wouldn't call myself a Taylor Swift fan, but I also wouldn't call myself a Taylor Swift hater. So that's where I am in the present time. Thoughts on the Palestine-Israel conflict? Look, for me, it's always been free Palestine since I first learned about it. First learned about the conflict when I was in, I think freshman year of college is when I first really started to understand what was happening, and that, like, it's always been free Palestine for me. And I've gotten a fair amount of critique on here for not being as vocal or sharing information, and I understand that, but for me, the way that I have felt most impactful has been showing up for my friends who are both Palestinian and also Jewish, but really being present for my Palestinian friends and making sure that, like, they're heard, they're supported. So, yeah. And, you know, I really want to apologize also for letting there be any confusion about that, because it's always been really straightforward for me. Would you do Amazing Race with Brittany or Michael? Yes. I know y'all want me to add Sip Tea. I'm not adding anybody in here. I will not be doing that. Can you add someone to sing? Y'all are really supporting the Sip Tea person. Sip Tea, I'm sorry. I will not be doing that. What did this say? I Love Money, season 13, DH1 contest. Oh, okay, that question went away. Sorry. Any chance of you guest hosting on The Talk? Yeah, I talk to Jerry every now and then. And so yeah, like, usually when I'm in town, we're like, oh, can we make it work? It's not gonna work this time. Okay, next time. Oh, can we make it work? It's not gonna work. Okay, next time. So yeah. Anywhere Bold and Beautiful coming up. They've got my number and I love showing up when they call. So I don't have anything booked with them right now. And also, like, the new winner is about to go on and have their whole thing. So yeah. But I really love that, like, the model Mackenzie is able to just kind of like pop in and pop out as necessary, as needed. And it's a nice check, so. Favorite Housewives franchise. I love Miami. It's so good. Like, Miami is so good. I also love New York. Yeah, I love the reboot of New York. I love Miami. I'd love to see Atlanta get a refresh, or even if Atlanta had like a legacy and a new age season, that would be cool. I haven't watched Jersey in a while. That's a good question. Is Bold and Beautiful not affected by the actors' strike or the writer's strike? So I was really concerned about that actually when they first reached out. And so I called casting and I was like, hey, like, you know, I'm a member of SAG, which I actually, that's a funny story. When I did the talk, Omarosa immediately sent me a message here on Instagram and said, make sure you register for your SAG card because of your appearance on the talk. That's going to give you access to that. And I was like, what? And I got the paperwork because of the talk. So shout out to Omarosa, you're a real one. I appreciate you, thank you. But soap operas, game shows, and I think like daytime talk shows are all under a different contract underneath SAG. So the writers and actors strike, those are just different contracts from the soap operas. And so because it's a different contract, in the similar way that some of you might have heard about like people, or I think it was SAG saying, no, you have to show up for Dancing with the Stars, you are contractually actually obligated to, that is the same thing with soap operas. So it was kind of odd, like someone needs to fix their car. Yeah. It was weird walking onto the, or like driving onto the lot because you had people picketing and like they clearly know that soap actors are obligated to show up and still do their work. So you're not scabbing or you're not crossing a picket line, but you know, you're like, I would roll down and be like, yeah, sex strong. So it was a really interesting, like the first time I was like, oh God, I hope I'm not doing something wrong, and da, 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 da. But I talked to a couple people that were actually picketing and they were really just transparent about it. So, you know, listen and learn. That's what's important. Who said that was my Lambo that Oprah gave me? Please be serious. You should do Dancing with the Stars. If I were to do it, I would have to wait another year. CBS has still got me, y'all. It still got me. Just watched your clip tonight. You ate down with those answers. Thank you. I have not watched the clip yet. I will say, being in the green room and actually like being on the other side of the Big Brother house was really cool. I didn't walk through the camera area, but just knowing that the Big Brother house is here and then like the green room is basically just on the other side of where the studio audience is. And then down the hallway is where everyone's actual offices are. And, you know, I didn't look at any of that. But being in the green room, literally right there, was really, really cool. And I did get to see a little bit of the episode. I didn't really get to pay attention to a lot of it because, you know, they had social come in and do things and a lot of like people behind the scenes of production, like camera rig people and other handlers and people that I had interacted with so many times, but they had masks on, so I never met them. I met the voice of Big Brother. It was so funny. He walks in and gives me this big hug and handshake, and he goes, "It's so good to see you." And it's so hard when people say it's so good to see you, because I'm like, I don't know who you are. Like, I've never met you in person. I don't know who you are. I'm so sorry. But so he walks in, he goes, "It's so good to see you." And I was like, "I'm so sorry, I don't know who you are." And he goes, "Taylor, please come to the dining room." And I swear to you, I jumped up and I ran. I ran to the other side of the room. I was like, oh no, angry dad. Love the air hug for Julie, and she gave a real hug. Look, I don't know their COVID protocols. I don't know if Julie's a germaphobe or whatever, so I'm just like, I'm gonna give you space, girl. And Michael actually texted me. I have to respond to him. Michael texted me and was like, I love that you got to give her a real hug. Taylor, can you stop talking, please? No. Why are you in my life? Get out. Goodbye. Do you like pears? I hope that's not a, like a pseudonym for something, but yes, I actually do like pears. I like green pears specifically. Specifically. Julie used to hug everyone before COVID. I know she did. I also think it's really interesting that I feel like the safest people in the world are people that are in the Big Brother house. So I think it's interesting to be like, oh, I'm not gonna hug people coming out of Big Brother. And it's like, I've been on a plane so much. Like, I've been on so many planes lately. It's like, I'm kind of the most prone to germs and things like that. But hey, I'll give Julie a real hug any day. Oh, but I was saying, so being in the green room, it was really cool because I got to just like see the episode on the screen. I didn't really hear it because, like I was saying, so many people were coming in and out. Again, you know, I'm like getting a little emotional because it was so cool. I think anybody from any season of Big Brother would just get kind of emotional because, you know, these are people that saw you and like connected with you or worked for, behind, with you, and we never knew who they were. And we never got to see them face to face and say thank you. So it was just really special to be able to do that today. All that being said, I was really surprised by how many times they mentioned I was in the episode, including last week. Like, I was surprised they mentioned it last week. I was surprised, it was at the top of the show, and then they teased it like 2 times before a commercial break, and then they did the whole like, I'm in the mirror and the camera, and then I turn and I do this, and then everyone was really shocked when they said, okay, you're gonna walk on the stage. They kept saying, 2 beats, 2 steps. 2 beats, 2 steps. And I was like, okay, I got it. And he goes, 2 beats, 2 steps. I was like, okay, 2 beats, 2 steps. So I walk out and I stand on the moment for 2 beats. Then I take 2 steps and the camera follows me. And then I sit in the chair. And I was like, that's weird. Why am I not already sitting in the chair? And I met the director of the show and he was like, you got to have a moment. Like, I really wanted you to have a moment. So they're just really, really sweet people. And I had a lot of fun. There was a Make-A-Wish family that was there at the end of the episode. And like Big Brother really, really did it up for that family today. I'm sure they knew I'd be on the episode, but they didn't know that I was gonna be there to meet them and chat with them and hang out. A family from Chicago. So they got flued out, they got taken over in a limo, they got to do all the Big Brother things all day. And then the Make-A-Wisher got a special BB comic just for her, which was really sweet. And she got a copy of Julie's Chenbot comic, so that was really, really cool to see. I think she and her mom are big fans, and her mom had actually been watching Big Brother since season 1. So, you know, I think it kind of goes back to understanding how much the show means to people. I remember when I walked back on the stage after the show ended, or, you know, cameras went down, and I saw her face when she was taking her picture with Julie, and I walked in to get in the picture, and I just stopped, and I put my hand on her shoulders, and I was like, that smile, the way you were beaming right now, is exactly the way that Michael was beaming when Julie first walked out when we were about to enter the Big Brother house. And I was like, it's really, really cool to see super mega fans have this moment. And so I just thanked her. I was like, thank you for loving this show so much, and I hope that we continue to give you something that you love. So she was just a total sweetheart, and like, such a cool family, such good people, and it was really cool to be able to be part of a Make-A-Wish experience too. So special thank you to Make-A-Wish. Thank you for involving me in that. It was a big moment for my heart today. So overall, today was so amazing. My heart is very full today. My heart is very, very full. And guys, I got a Big Brother hoodie out of it. So they make hoodies every season for the staff. And I saw a couple people wearing the BB24 one, and I was like, damn, like, where can I get one of those? I just said it in passing. And then, I went out and did all this stuff on stage and came back, and someone grabbed my arm and was like, hold tight, don't get in your car yet. I was like, what? And they came back out and they had this hoodie for me. So now I have a Big Brother 24 hoodie, which is really cool. So thank you again. All right, it is 11:30 over here on the West Coast in LA. And I think it's time for me to go to bed. You get some sleep. Alrighty. Actually, no, I really do need to get some sleep, but I also need to start taking all of this hair down. Or maybe I will just sleep just like that. And I tell you guys all the time, don't sleep in your makeup, but I might do it. I might do it tonight. Don't tell anybody. Okay. It's time to get out of public. Oh, it's time to get out of public live. That's fine. These questions are fine. Cool. I think we got through everything, y'all. Time to go to bed. I love you. Mwah. I love you. Mwah. And while I decide whether or not I'm going to take this makeup off, I think we're going to go watch the episode now. I haven't seen Felicia's interview either. Yeah. All right.